Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Epic Film Guys podcast, 137, I believe. 137, I think it is.
Are
Justin.
we really that far? Man,
yeah.
Oh my God. That's
How
insane,
the hell
dude.
are you, baby? I'm Nick, of course.
And I'm Justin. And yeah, you are listening to the Epic Film Guys podcast.
Ooh.
Apparently, episode 137. So
I think.
cheers to that, man. I'm going to sip the rest of this triple IPA in my glass for that, man.
You ain't allowed
Any
to sip
reason
no
to
IPA,
do so.
I reckon I tell you none. But we are ramping up, Justin. Livestream for the Cure 2.0, less than 2 months away at this point, and I've got a few different announcements that I want to talk about right up here at the top of the show. But if you'll indulge me for just a moment, I've actually got something I want to throw on for you really quick.
Let's do it, man.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Justin. We are the Epic Film Guys, and we'd like just a moment of your time to talk about an extremely important event coming up this May.
Last year, we hosted the Livestream for the Cure, a 12-hour live stream fundraiser where we raised $2,500 for the Cancer Research Institute.
86 cents out of every dollar raised goes to research toward finding a cure.
And this year, we're aiming to smash that goal, and we need your help to do it.
Join us from May 18th through the 20th for 30 hours of amazing live stream content from us and a whole host of amazing podcasters who will be joining us to try to reach $5,000.
For more information, please visit www.livestreamforthecure.com. Together, we can make a difference. So there you have it. Livestream for the Cure promos are officially done. I've already been putting out the word all over social media. So if you're a podcaster or even if you're a YouTube channel, I also cut a video version of this, and I would appreciate it if anybody out there has a YouTube channel and they want to spin this. We've got it available. I did cut a video for this, just a really quick one. It's just basically the stock image for the live stream for the Cure, but I did put that together. And everybody that plays this promo, let us know. And I've got some stickers for you. We're going to send you some Epic Film Guys stickers and some live stream for the Cure stickers as soon as we get those guys in. Because I really, really appreciate everybody that's coming out of the woodwork to help to support this event. I think it's really, really amazing, the response that we've received thus far. And I'm going to cut a few more versions of the promos probably as we get closer to the event, and maybe Justin and I will record a little something else. But yeah, I am super, super excited for this event, Justin. Everything is coming together a lot more smoothly than it did last year, I feel.
Well, of course, I was really hoping that it would, knowing that we went through it the first time. We kind of learned a little bit about the process of it and the ups and downs and the bumps in the road, so to speak. But I'm really excited about it. Again, as you just said, piggybacking off of that the response we've gotten has been fantastic. And I think it's only going to grow more and more in the next 2 months before the event actually hits. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a fantastic time for everybody. And it's all for a great cause. Like how many times can you say in your life that you had a blast with a lot of great people together and it all benefited something so special and something that needs our help? It's so that's why I'm so pumped about it myself.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely wonderful event. We've got a lot of slots filled right now. There are some available. So if you are a podcaster, you want to be a guest on the air. I mean, we're going to have stream games and stuff like that literally anybody who's watching is going to be able to play. But we do need guests to join us for different slots. Friday in the dead of the morning is still actually pretty much wide open because nobody's awake at like 1:30 to 2:30 a.m.
Right.
It happens. I'm very, very happy. Randy and Tommy from the Miserable Retail Slave are going to be our first guests from 6:30 to 7:30, kicking us off. I love their show. They do a brilliant comedy podcast. Paul, our good brother from Perth, we absolutely love Paul, is going to be joining us for 2 solid hours after that. We're going to do some kind of countdown. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do just yet.
I love countdowns. I got to just say, I love countdowns. I love them. They're so fun.
And we're going to have the crossover podcast. Gerald, you were just on 2Ps. You were just on 2Ps, and Gerald is going to be joining us on Friday for a featured programming block. I want you to tell us more about that a little bit later. But What Were They Thinking podcast they're going to be on Now That I'm Older. Shane and Kenny. Hopefully Kenny. I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully. Heather from Sunshine at Power Cuts rounding out our Friday. She's going to be on in the very dead of the morning because she's in New Zealand. So that's actually a normal time for her, but it'll be 2:30 in the morning for me, pretty long after Justin's been like, dude, I can't stay up anymore. I'm going to bed.
I mean, if I stay sober, if I stayed sober the entire thing, I could probably handle doing like all of it. But there's no way possible that I'd be able to.
There's no way possible that you're going to stay sober.
Not happening.
But yeah, we've got so much more stuff to announce with Livestream for the Cure, but there's tons and tons of programming availability still left. So if you want to take part in the event, please get over there. As Justin said, it is for a very, very, very good cause. And I'm going to be pushing the shit out of this for the next 2 months. And I want to share a story with you, Justin, if you don't mind. It just take me a couple moments.
Oh, sure, man. I'd love to hear it, man.
I was at work today. Okay. And sometimes when you get calls from these customers, sometimes they just don't ever have anybody to talk to. You can tell. So they will just kind of start dumping their whole life on you. All right. So I talked to this wonderful lady who, was born in Elmira. It's where she lived her whole life until she was like 20 something. Moved to Florida, lived in Florida for like 30 some years or whatever. And she was like in her like mid 50s or so when she lived in Florida. And then all of a sudden one day she was at work, she owned her own business and everything, and she collapsed. And they took her in, they gave her an MRI and everything, and they found out that she had a grapefruit sized tumor attached to her spinal cord. And she was talking to me about this, and she's talking about she had an operation. They removed most of it, but there's still parts of it in there they can't get rid of. What's left in there now is inoperable. She has to go through all these different radiation treatments and all that stuff. And, in the midst of all this, her husband passed away kind of unexpectedly. I mean, like I said, she's only in her like mid 50s. She's not that old, and she's telling me all this different stuff about, now she lives back in Elmira. She's moving back to the area, and she's just on Social Security disability now. She, like I said, she owned her own business. She's doing all these other different things. And like, she legit cannot have an operation because it could kill her. Like legit, if they try to go in there after the rest of it, she could die there on the table, And when I was thinking of that, it got me like a little bit emotional as I was thinking about it. And, thinking about the live stream for the Cure, that's why we do this. That's why this event is so important to me. That's why it's so important to Justin. That's why it's so important to do this. Like, I don't know whatever sway we do and don't have as podcasters and the podcasting, whatever the fuck, I don't give a fuck, but I want to do some good in the world, and that's what this is all about. It's about doing some good in the world. It's about raising money so that shit like that doesn't have to happen anymore, she told me, like, she'll go to the store. If she goes to the store to buy groceries, she'll go home and she'll sleep for 2 days afterward because it just destroys her energy, because of all the things that she's going through and everything. It broke my heart, but it reminded me of why the live stream for the Cure is so important. So please, please, please come out and support the event. Merchandise is going to be available very, very soon. We're just going to play games. We're going to give away a ton of prizes. We're going to have so much fun talking about movies. I'm going to have restaurant cooking segments that I'm going to do pre-recorded that are going to be part of it. It's just going to be fun. It's going to be so amazing. So please, please, please come out and support the event.
Yeah, definitely. And to piggyback off that, Nick, what a touching story, man. Seriously. Some of the best stories I've heard from some of the most interesting people that I've ever spoken to my entire life were over the phone, doing the jobs that I've done. And I've been touched many times, and that story was so touching. And I want to just thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for sharing it with our audience tonight.
Yeah, it was just one of those moments where, if I ever, and I've done a lot more stuff this year. We reached out to Podbean. Podbean is going to feature us on their app, and they're going to do awesome social media plugs for us. We reached out to the Nerdist, to their corkboard, to try to get a wider audience out there. And as we get closer to the event, obviously once May gets here, we're going to ramp up social media, put huge. But huge. Don't bring Trump into this, Nick.
Huge. I'm thinking Facillo Auto Mall up in Syracuse. Those commercials up in Syracuse. Huge.
It's just going to be an amazing event. And it's for such a good cause. And it's for such a great organization. Again, 86 cents out of every dollar. And I know you guys that listen to the show week to week, you're probably like, man, they talk about this live stream for the Cure thing a lot. And it's because it's important. It's important to us, and it's important that everybody get out there and support the event. Early donations are going to be extremely soon. As soon as merchandise is ready and available in our shops, if you can't make the event and you want to make an early donation, or even if you want to make an early donation and donate during the event, you'll be able to do that very, very soon. And hopefully we can put a big chunk in that $5,000 before we ever even step on the air for that live stream for The Cure. It's going to be amazing.
I'm super excited for it.
Especially since last year we couldn't take early donations at all. Like we got
Everything's working now. Everything's working now.
Everything is working so much better this year. I mean, I am actually kind of surprised at how smooth everything's going right now. I'm kind of waiting for some last second wrench to get thrown into the cogs or something.
Stay positive. Don't be a pessimist. Okay.
True.
Don't be
that's
cynical.
True. That's true. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm super excited, and it's amazing. But we've got other stuff to talk about tonight. Justin and I both had the opportunity to see one film that we're going to do a feature review of, and Justin got the opportunity to see one of my most anticipated films of the year because I live in Binghamton and I can never get movies like that around here.
You'll get it. I know you'll get it at some point. It may be 6 months from now, but you'll get it at the fucking Cinema Saver or something. But you will get it. I hope, for your sake.
Yeah, Cinema Saver. Do I want to get stabbed trying to watch a Wes Anderson movie? Yeah,
I've only been there a handful of times, but
that.
I mean, yeah, it's worth it.
But yeah, before we get there, Justin, before we get into any more of that kind of stuff, I think we've got to get into something that we do every single week here on the show. It's time to talk about what are you drinking?
I'm back. Puke and rally. Woo! Give me a beer.
Give me one now. And you're going to talk about that triple IPA you're drinking because I've heard you mention it like 3 times.
I already finished it. It's done.
Son of a bitch.
That was my pre-gaming beer. The beer that I've been saving tonight. I love this artwork, man. This brewery I've talked about plenty of times. It's been over a year since I mentioned the name of this brewery on the podcast, and I attempted to get them to like try to sponsor us in some way, and they just ignored us on social media. But it is Adroit Theories: The Death of Civilization in Slow Motion. Morsov edition Ghost 622. It's a double IPA, and I love their descriptions and their artwork. So I'm just going to give to you, Nick, the description that's on the side of the bottle.
We love cock.
Branded for destruction, more machine than man. Instinct fuels his existence, morals and beliefs sacrificed for survival. Blindly, he follows orders to destroy anyone that impedes his purpose. The question of what is righteous, lost. Contains lactose. So this shit's got some Mosaic, Citra, Galaxy. Dude, it's totally dank. You get some peach, some cantaloupe even, and it's got a great earthiness to it. And of course, your favorite, a creamy mouthfeel.
Wait.
Yeah.
Mouthfeel?
Yeah, creamy mouthfeel and a very subtle bitterness. Out of all the New England styles that I get, Adroit Theory actually lists their IBUs, and there's 27. And of course, 8.2 alcohol by volume. It's good. It's delicious, and I just took my first sip as we started this segment. I like it. I like it a lot. But I got to ask you. I hope it's something special. I hope you're going to surprise me. I hope it's not boring. What do you got guzzling down your gullet this evening?
I feel like we get more and more elaborate with that every single time we do it on the show. I'm not complaining. I applaud that. I'm going to give that the smattering. There it is. I love it. I love the effort. A+ for fucking effort. Man. All right. Well, I saw this down at Wegmans, and I decided to pick it up because it was really cheap for a 22-ounce bottle. You know, usually they're like a good 7, 8, 9 more, depending on what it is. This was $5, Justin. And I was like, what? $5 for Stone Scorpion Bowl IPA? Stone Brewing? $5 for a big tall boy of this bad boy? Well, let me tell you, this is a pretty, for $5 especially. I'll say this. It's not anything that's like mind blowing, but it's for an IPA, just for, you know, your normal IPA, it is about as perfect as just a standard classic IPA gets. Nice bitter punch right up top. It holds on through the bite. It doesn't finish too bitter. It's nice and clean. It's a little bit piney and a little bit citrusy. It's just great. It's just a great, clean, easy drinking beer. I really, really like it.
So you're saying that I should try this. I've been like on a stone, not like I've been like hiding from stone, but I haven't had a stone beer, and I can't even tell you the last time.
Wow. Yeah.
If I remember the beers that I talked about in the show, I could probably tell you, but I don't remember any of them.
Oh my God.
Thank God for Untapped.
We need a super fan to go back through every single episode for What Are You Drinking and pull every single beer that we've ever had on the show.
I could just look at my Untapped, but that goes to show. I mean,
but like I said,
we just drink a lot of beer.
So think about Justin, how much do we normally spend for beer? And you more so than I, because then again, what did I just buy? I just bought something else that was like a 4-pack, and it was like $14 or $15.
I can't even believe the wife allows me to do the beer budget. Like, I buy my beers from Aslan. We were just at Pizza Boy Brewing in Harrisburg over the weekend. And of course, that's a chunk of change while I'm there. We actually did some breweries the week before. We had Monday off, and we went to go see Tomb Raider that day, and we went to some breweries out in Leesburg that day. So the past couple of weeks been a lot of breweries, a lot of good beer that I'm buying for the house. And, I'm very thankful. I appreciate my wife's understanding of my beer hobby, I should say. And honestly, Nick, I saw this meme online someone posted, and I thought it was hilarious. And it was something to the effect of, I love that I have a hobby as an excuse to get hammered all the time. Like, seriously though, because it's looked at as a cool hobby. You know what I mean? Like, could you see people at like breweries like, oh, it's a cool hobby. Like, they're just there, they're enjoying the beer, but it's like, I'm just getting fucking wasted off this beer. Not saying myself, but again,
like I said, I love that this was only $5 because I also picked up, I have their Enjoy by 420 in the fridge. Very different type of beer compared to this. It has one of the most bitter punches at the end of the sip that I've ever had in an IPA. It's incredible. It's a really good beer, but man, that punch at the back end of it is just like, I think people describe it as resiny most of the time. I describe it as really, really insanely hoppy and bitter. And I love that about beer, so that's why I drink them. But I mean, man, it's a good beer,
how you say hoppy and bitter, Nick. I like how you say hoppy and bitter.
Hoppy. Speaking of hoppy and bitter, Justin, it's out.
Mm-hmm.
She went into bottles this past weekend. Dumpster Juice is carbonating right now as we speak.
It looks beautiful, man. It looks beautiful.
I got you. I did even more of this for you because I know if it turns out really well, you're going to want more than a 6-pack. So I got you 2 4-packs of it. I got you 8 of them. And like I said, whenever you come up here anyway, I'm going to have extras. I'm going to have it.
Is it available for pickup like in the next week?
It's available for pickup, but not for drinking. It won't be done carbonating.
I may have to have my mother-in-law come over when she brings my daughter back next week and be like, hey, just go grab that over at his place real quick. She'll do it too. Man, I'd love to do it. Yeah, then I'll have it. I'll be able to drink it on the show.
Man, I've got the Belgian to send with you. I can't wait for you to taste that Belgian, dude. That Belgian is legitimately great. And, of course, the Hopster's chocolate milk is finishing up primary right now. I've got to transfer it to secondary and add some more cocoa nibs, which is going to be really, really nice. It's going to have such a rich...
Nibs.
It's the Hopster's chocolate milk, man.
Fucking
he loves it chocolatey, baby.
Yeah, he likes all
I've
kinds of
graduated from the cheapest crap chocolate ice cream in Miller Lite that so long ago that Caleb I still can't believe he actually made that and drank it on the show.
I know. He made me proud. He lived the dream.
That's why I love those guys so much. I trolled them with I didn't troll them. I did it because I love them, but
the host?
With the host, and they watched it like troopers, and I received more death threats during that 30-minute segment on their show than I did.
And to let our listeners know, it's not the Japanese kaiju film. It's the film with explain real quick. It's from the
author of Twilight, Stephanie Meyer.
There you go.
Yeah, more death threats during that half-an-hour segment than I did my entire time as a debt collector, I'm pretty sure. Caleb told me to fall asleep on the train tracks. It was good. It was really, really good. So they enjoyed it.
It was good, yeah.
They really enjoyed it. I've been all sorts of other places. I think we could talk about that a little bit later. We're going to give away some prizes a little bit later in the show just because we love you guys, just because we feel like throwing some shit at you, including another free month of patron status on the Epic Film, guys. You're going to get to hear what the patrons hear. You're going to get to hear the pre-roll, which is basically Justin and I just bullshitting about whatever random stuff. There's some funny bits in there. Especially when Loy Sauce is on and we're trolling him about stuff. Oh man, we have some fun with Loy Sauce in the patron only segment. So then
his ass is always eating fucking popcorn or some snacker. He's always eating Doritos or something.
God damn. Every time we record a patron only segment, and then something will be said during it, and Loy Sauce will be like, wait, nobody's going to hear that, right? And we're like, not unless they pay money to be a sponsor of the show.
He doesn't like to be known as a bad boy. I've been trying for 3 years to turn him into a bad boy. He just won't convert.
Man.
He's
I don't know what life was like over on that George and Tony outfit when he did the guest spots he did on that show, but I bet you they didn't talk about penises nearly as much as the Epic Film guys.
God damn it, Nick. I fucking told you that we were not going to mention the male genitalia at all on the show this evening. Now, did we not have that discussion prior to recording?
Justin.
Wow.
You better edit that shit out. Edit that shit out.
Edit that shit out. Oh my God. But yeah, Justin is going to be checking in with some Isle of Dogs. We're going to talk about that. Again, we're going to talk about Pacific Rim Job 2, as our good friend and brother Paul from the Countdown is affectionately calling
perfectly put, Paul. Perfectly put.
Oh my God. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to give away a surprise. We're going to have some fun tonight. So why don't we go ahead, Justin, and we're going to roll into a quick break for some EFG history where you get to hear Justin and I talk about Batman versus Superman for the very, very first time when we first reviewed the film together in the very room that you're sitting in.
Sitting right next to where I was sitting right now. Yeah,
right,
man. It was awesome.
Well, the first time that we ever recorded live and in person, and I still think that was such a great show. But remember, like, we kept fucking up because we kept looking at each other, and like we're not used to looking at each other when we record the show, so it was like really fucked up.
I don't look at anything, dude. I look down. I don't look at anything.
He looks down in shame and like, oh.
I look at a blank wall or something. I don't know. If I'm looking at stuff like words and pictures and stuff, my mind wanders.
That is very true. So we're going to run into a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and then we will be right back to talk about Isle of Dogs.
I'll be right back.
This week in Epic Film History.
Eisenberg, and I'm going to say this out front, this is my favorite performance in this film. Luther steals the fucking show in this movie. Heads up, Marvel. Here comes Nick's fucking rant.
Shut up! Shut up! No! Wrong! Now shut the fuck up and let me do my job!
Stop it, you weak, you fading shut!
This is how you do a fucking villain. That scene on the heliport, it scared the shit out of me. That dude was fucking terrifying up on that heliport as he's laying out his entire plan, and he's just foaming with this rage and everything because of how much he fucking hates Superman and how much he wants to destroy him. Like, it invests me so deeply into that character. It scares the shit out of you, but this character's despicable. He does some really despicable shit in this film. The bomb at the Capitol fucking came out of nowhere. I didn't expect it at all. Blows up the whole fucking, thing in there to try to frame Superman, to try to turn public opinion against him. Everything like that. It's such a powerful scene. This Lex Luthor is not bumbling around, over the top, chewing up scenery like Hackman and Spacey were. Love them as I do in their respective films. But this, he tries to play off earlier in the film that he's just kind of this kooky, like new age, hipstery, business mogul type, young guy, plays basketball, rides motorcycles, all this stuff. But at the heart of this character is just this beating black heart, and he is an evil, vicious, psychotic motherfucker.
We could not let this month go by without celebrating the greatest performance in the history of fucking cinema.
The greatest, the best. I'm still to this day, Nick, shocked, outright appalled at the fact that he did not get nominated and not win Best Actor, or Best Supporting Actor, I should say. Actually, no, Best Actor. He's like the most important part of the film.
He is the most prominent role in the film by far.
They're the harbingers of your doom.
Instead of getting a nomination and an Oscar win, Arnold went off and made an illegitimate child with his Mexican maid, and they have a child now named Joseph, and he's actually the closest thing to the classic Conan the Barbarian Arnold Schwarzenegger that out of any of the kids that he's had. This kid is jacked. He looks just like Conan the Barbarian. So whatever, we got mini Conan out of the deal. So
Your guide to cinema etiquette from the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews podcast. Tip 43.
When attending the cinema with your good friends or significant other, don't assume anyone else has any interest in what you have to say. So, always remember...
Whisper, fuckface! It's not rocket science. For more useful cinema etiquette, join Paul and Wayne on the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews podcast at Podomatic on iTunes or your favorite podcast app.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for hanging out with us here on the Epic Film Guys podcast. Woo. We love having you here. We don't do what we do without you, so we got to thank you once again. I had the amazing opportunity myself, my wife, and Loy Sauce.
The Sauce.
That's
the
right.
god of podcasting himself.
Yeah, Wes Anderson's new film. It is in limited release, so don't feel like, bad that you haven't had a chance to see it or not. But Isle of Dogs, or as I like to call it, Nick, I love dogs. Say Isle of Dogs real quick.
Isle of Dogs. Wait, you said
Say
fast.
it quickly. Say it quickly.
Isle of Dogs. I get what you said there.
Yeah, Isle of Dogs.
Yeah, you did the thing.
So I know this is on Nick's most anticipated list, and I hate to be that thorn in his side. Yes, of course, as always, I got to see it before him, but I went to Angelica Film Center, which is the one theater around here where if you want to see an indie movie that's not playing anywhere else,
kill him, hang him, hit him.
I would never want to do that to a dog, though, or Wes Anderson. Aww. That's where I trekked out for this. Of course, the film is written and directed by Wes Anderson, written and directed this time, and it is set in a fictional Japanese city of Megasaki, about 20 or so years in the future. The premise of the film is when snout fever, aka the dog flu, hits the metropolis, a fear-mongering Mayor Kobayashi basically says, like, hey, this is a pandemic, and we're going to deport all dogs out of the city. The four-legged citizens are shipped off to a trash island, a toxic wasteland, basically like a giant dump, where survival is like, it's survival of the fittest, man. You're either going to live, you're going to die, you're eating trash every day. And if you're thinking at all while you're watching this film that there are political under-themes, yes, political under-themes that are basically associated with the United States in our current situation, you're definitely right. Okay, so in the story of this film, the first dog to get sent to Trash Island is Spots. He is voiced by Liev Schreiber. He is a short-haired, oceanic, speckle-eared sport hound who happens to be the beloved pet of the mayor's orphaned ward, 12-year-old Atari. So the story begins when Atari, hey man, this is his best friend. He does not want him to leave him. He just jumps in a little prop plane and he flies to Trash Island to try to rescue and find his beloved dog. I can't tell you enough, Nick. My heart was filled with pure joy upon watching Isle of Dogs. It's been a long time since I've felt this much of a childhood joy inside myself just burst out while I was watching a movie. I feel like right off the bat, Wes Anderson's been the one guy that he's been able to make whatever he wants. This guy, he has never been a studio guy. He's made Wes Anderson films, or as I like to call them, Wes Anderson-y films. And no one ever bothers him. He makes the films. They make money. They do well critically. Pretty much everyone loves them. And then he continues on to another Wes Anderson film. I mean, can you name to me one film, Nick, that's commercially successful that's Wes Anderson film? Like huge commercial.
Yeah, I don't.
He has not succumbed to the studio system in the sense that he has not made a comic book movie. He has not made anything that's not really his vision. So for me, it shows here, and it's really Wes Anderson in the purest form possible. I loved this movie. Okay. It's the basic boy and his dog story. But it's anchored down by like a whirlwind of subplots and side trips that really topper a lesser movie. He makes this really interesting decision to turn all of the dog's barks, like when they bark, into English spoken language, while all of the Japanese humans in the film, nope, no subtitles. You don't, unless you're Japanese, you don't know what they're saying. So you're seeing this more or less from the dog's point of view.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's very interesting creative choice here. As always with Wes Anderson, it's witty, it's quirky, And it's got great jokes speckled throughout this thing. Now, obviously, a Wes Anderson film cannot do without its cast, Nick. And oh my God, as always, I don't know how this guy reels people in other than his name. Bryan Cranston is Chief, which is one of the main dogs we know. Edward Norton is Rex. We got Bill Murray as Boss. And Jeff Goldblum is a Duke. God damn it. They're all so great. And of course, we have Greta Gerwig showing up as Tracy Walker, one of the human characters in the film. She is an exchange student over in Japan from America. And Frances McDormand, recent Oscar winner, as an interpreter. So anytime we see any of these political exhibitions, we have Frances basically narrating and she's translating everything for us.
Wow.
And we have ScarJo as a small role as Nutmeg, the female show dog in the film. And even Harvey Keitel shows up here. I mean, like, literally, the cast in this could not be better. It's insane. Tilda Swinton, Ken Watanabe, you name it, dude. There's a huge amount of stars in this movie.
So, well,
and
I think really, really quickly to bring it up, because I know this has been a huge controversy which I don't fucking understand at all. But a lot of
whitewashing?
A lot of people are giving this film some backlash because of this huge white cast in the film, but they're all dogs.
Well, here's the thing. I want to make this clear right now, and this is one of the points that I was going to bring up, Nick, and I'm glad you actually mentioned that.
I just wanted to shoo it in there because I noted that, and I was just like, what?
Well, I want to make this clear here. One of our main characters is Chief, which is played by Bryan Cranston, voiced by Bryan Cranston. The beginning of the movie, almost all the way until the end, this dog, you think, is a black furred dog. So he looks very dirty. He's got lots of scars on him. He's black. At one point, Atari, the young boy that traveled to Trash Island to find his dog, washes him and kind of converts him. In the beginning of the film, Chief was basically a stray who was attempted to be taken in, and he didn't do well with humans. So he bit the human child, Master, and he ran off. And he said, I'll always be a stray. I'll never be changed. And later on, he attaches himself to Atari and decides to protect him and to go on with this adventure with him to find his dog, Spots. And he washes him. He bathes him. And yes, Nick, it is a sense, I guess you could say it's whitewashing, because when he washes the black dog, the dog turns white. But it is central to the plot of the film, and it connects Spots to Chief in a very interesting way, which melds it all together. And I thought it worked very well. I don't look at it at all as Wes Anderson, especially with what the subplot is to this and the undertones in this movie, that he's trying to whitewash anything. I feel like, if anything, Wes Anderson is the last director on the planet that would, quote unquote, whitewash something. I think you're just taking it a little bit far. I have heard that criticism
that people were criticizing the fact that you had, you just said Bill Murray, Bryan Cranston, Jeff Goldblum, Liv Schreiber. You got all these, Caucasian actors in there in this film that's called Isle of Dogs. It's set in Japan, but it's like, but they're all the voices of the dogs. Like,
exactly.
I mean, really, like, there are a lot of valid claims out there when you talk about this kind of thing. This isn't one of them. I think this is just, I think this is people just wanting to be offended about something that,
as always, I
don't get it.
Here's the thing, Nick. We discussed this on the podcast many times. I say this to anybody. And I'm not naming names or calling people out, but like, we're in a society right now where people have to find something about everything to complain about, or to find,
or to be offended by.
Offended by it. Yeah. Exactly. And in this case, it's not done in that
You're
way. I didn't take it that way.
The dogs are voiced by, I'm just like,
dude, if you watch this movie, this is probably the most commercial movie that Wes Anderson's made, and you can take your child to this movie. I wish that my daughter was here. She actually went up to New York for her Easter break. She'd love this movie. Everyone loves dogs. It's a very simple story, but again, what Wes Anderson does is he backs it by these political underthemes and makes it very interesting. Now, this movie, I got to tell you, Nick, it's so stunning. Okay? It blends the amazing stop motion. I mean, literally, how much effort goes into the stop motion. Okay. Like, I was walking out of the theater last night and I said, I am appreciative of a filmmaker that actually goes through the effort to put this much time into making a movie, because we know with today's technology, you don't have to do it. You could actually do stop motion and just straight CGI, and it would look like it, but it wouldn't have the little imperfections that it does with the fur rolls the wrong way, or the eye isn't completely the right way, and it's not, it's perfect. And it blends that stop motion with traditional animation throughout. And of course, it's got CGI in it, but it's blended perfectly. And the details are what gives Isle of Dogs its vibrancy and allure in this case. Backed by, oh my God, Oscar winner Alexandre Desplat in a beautiful score, Nick.
Yeah.
Featuring taiko drums. Literally, like, this is another step for him. I feel like he's got 5 or 6 more Oscars just lining up for him, sitting there every single year. I can't tell you enough. The film was heartwarming. It's a fun little fantasy adventure. The dogs, you're going to fall in love with them. I mean, who's not going to love Edward Norton and Bill Murray and Jeff Goldblum as a dog? Bryan Cranston as a dog. I mean, it's fantastic. Who's not going to love this? I mean, for me, I got to say this, though. I don't think that it's Wes Anderson's quote-unquote best film, but I think it's his most relatable film where you could go as a family. The adults are going to understand something differently from it and still be entertained, and the children are going to understand something different from it and be entertained. I'm going to go out on a limb here, going to give my rating of Isle of Dogs, because I know you haven't seen it. Not going to spoil anything else for you. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's a solid entry from Wes Anderson. I absolutely had a great time at the theater with this, and like I said, anyone can get something great out of this movie. So go see it. If you get the chance to see Isle of Dogs, definitely see it over Pacific Rim Uprising or whatever the hell else is playing before Ready Player One hits cinemas. You could take your kids to this and have a great time.
Man,
so 8 out of 10 for me.
You just had to fucking nosedive this right down, because let me tell you, Justin, my rating for Pacific Rim Job 2, all kudos to Paul of the Countdown, our brother down in Perth. That's what he came up with, and that could not be a more apt title for this other film.
We haven't gotten there yet. We're getting
there right now, aren't we? Are we not doing that now? Did you have anything else you wanted to do first?
I mean, go see Isle of Dogs.
Yes.
Or as I say, I love dogs. I love dogs. I love dogs. I do love my dogs. Rocky and Goji, my Boston Terrier, my French Bulldog.
I reposted that picture I took of him when I was down there a couple years ago. On Facebook the other day. It was such a great picture with them curled up on each other.
It's funny, dude. Yeah, because when you posted
me
that night, I said, I came home and I sat on the couch and I looked at the picture and I said, Gojo, where's Uncle Skins? Where is he? Is he here? Where is he? And their ears perked up and they're looking all around the place. Rocky grabbed his toy and started growling. Hey, man. They know the name. They know what's up, dude. But yeah, we are going to move into Pacific Rim Uprising. That's right. You had the chance. You saw it tonight, man. You saw it tonight. What was the theater crowd like at your local AMC?
Well, first of all, let me say this once again for anybody who doesn't understand it. Do not bring your infant fucking child to the movie theater.
Oh no.
There was a kid in the theater. Like, and the kid was, I mean, of course it's an infant. Like, they're just not, they cry. They just cry. It's what they do. Like, the baby's going to do what the baby's going to do, but, like, you legit just no. Like, there was this whole huge family there, and they brought a young baby, and I was just like, and then they'd leave, the baby would start crying, and then I'd see somebody get up and leave. A few minutes later, they'd come back, like 10, 15 minutes later, the baby start crying again. Like, why? You're bringing it into this big, loud action movie where there's lots and lots of visual and, audible stimuli, where this baby's not going to sleep. This baby's not going to rest or whatever. It just, why? Just why? So that's that. But other than that, the theater was pretty empty. Pretty dead.
Well, considering the reason why I mentioned that, Nick, is because finally dethroned, Black Panther is no longer number one, Pacific Rim Uprising, and I am happy about that. Like we talked about it last week on the show, regardless of the film that actually stole the number one spot, I'm glad that Black Panther did not get that, because again, I like to see other films, I like to see other franchises make their way in, whether it was a franchise that I love or not, because if our listeners know or not, you have to go back many episodes while we trash on the first Pacific Rim, but we'll get into that while we discuss this new film. Again, I was happy that seeing a smaller film, a sequel to a smaller film, take number one was a good feeling. Kinda.
I'm fucking doing it.
Shut up! Shut up! No! Wrong! Now shut the fuck up and let me do my job!
Stop it, you weak, you fading! Shut up! Shut up!
Fuck literally everything about this movie. This movie was a reprehensible piece of dog shit. I hated this fucking movie. I hated this movie with the most fiery passion. I went into this optimistic, Justin. It doesn't have Charlie Hunnam in it, which is the reason I loved the monster versus kaiju action in the first film. It was really the thing that drew me to that. I'm a huge fan of old school anime, you know, things like Gundam, Big O, where you've got the big giant robots and stuff. I love that kind of stuff. And I think Guillermo del Toro is enough of a storyteller and enough of a visual maestro to really create something compelling. And outside of the human scenes in that film, he really did. It's the script and the acting in that film that let that film down for me. So I was very mixed on it. I had really strong reactions to some things, but I loved overall the kaiju versus robot action. This film didn't have the baggage of the old 2x4 himself, and it had John Boyega, who is a far more charismatic actor. We'll talk about him in this film. So the fact that you can take that and turn it into this ghastly shit heap is shocking to me. Shocking.
So for those of you that are not aware, as Nick just said there, we're off to this kind of review on the show.
Oh, yeah.
10 years after the Battle of the Breach, former Jaeger pilot Jake Pentecost, played by John Boyega, son of kaiju war hero Stacker Pentecost, played by Idris Elba, makes a living by stealing and selling Jaeger parts on the black market in California. While trying to steal the part of a disabled Jaeger's power core, he is arrested by the Pan-Pacific Defense Corps. His adoptive sister and PPDC General Secretary Meiko More gives Jake a choice between prison and returning to the PPDC as an instructor, which of course he does do, and as Loisos always says. And then
Hi, Jenks and Sue.
That's correct. And Nick, you know what? I had a feeling you were going to feel this way about this movie. And when I told you earlier on in the patron segment, as I walked out of this movie and I was hanging out in the lobby of Alamo Drafthouse, DC area, and I walked up to one of the film club members and she had a great big smile on her face and she seemed happy about it. And she said, "So what did you think of the movie?" And I saw Loisos's smile turn into a kind of a half smirk. And then he looked at me and I gave 2 giant fucking thumbs down to this piece of shit. But I'm going to tell you right off the bat, though, I feel like, as I always do, I probably slightly enjoyed this movie more than you did.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I'm more than sure that you did. Where to even begin with this fucking piece of shit?
Okay, so I'm going to say this much. I'll start off with this. Okay, I'll say this much because you just mentioned John Boyega. I just mentioned John Boyega. He's an up-and-coming star, okay? He was in Attack the Block, which is fantastic. He was obviously in The Force Awakens, which made him a leaps and beyonds. He was a star immediately. And then he was in The Last Jedi. He did Detroit, which neither Nick or I had the chance to see, as far as I know, which I heard is really good, by the way.
He's good in it, yeah.
He's good in it. But guess what, guys? I don't know who could have been a good lead in this movie because they didn't really give him anything to do. Anything in between the battle sequences of the Jaegers on Jaegers or the Jaegers on kaiju, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care anything about any of these characters. And literally, you can see the beginning of this movie, Nick. I feel like they legit just watched the most recent Transformers film and said, while they were making it, let's make it exactly like this. Let's have a little girl in it who's relatable to the young female crowd in this. Let's make it look like a Transformers film with the oranges and the blues. And let's shoot it like a Transformers film, badly edited, badly put together. I feel bad for John Boyega because I feel like, if anything, I feel like he was fine in the film. I mean, he's got a great charisma.
I like him in it. I liked him in the film. He was one of the few things I liked about it.
I didn't care about his character, even going on down the line here. Okay, Scott Eastwood as Nate Lambert. He's fine in the film, but Why should I care about your character at all? And the biggest excuse that I've heard from fans, and I'll get to this argument in a little bit because I understand it to a point, is that I went in for the monster fights and stuff, and that's what I got, so that's all I cared about.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You didn't really until like the last act of the film. Okay? There's really like very, very little action for like the first half of this movie outside of flashbacks. Like there's a couple of flashbacks where you see a little bit of action and whatnot. Like, because they still insist on carrying forward the stupid bullshit pseudoscience that they created in the first film. And now they are I think they're just sticking with it because it was already established in the first film. So they're like, okay, we've got to keep doing this stupid fucking neural link bullshit, which is just colossal, but to be fair, stupid fucking bullshit. All it does is waste screen time.
It's not done like it was in the first one, though. It was not done nearly to the extent that it was in the first one.
No, not at all. Which made it even worse because then it was just in the film to be in it and it was a throwaway. You know, and that's kind of the lesson of this film, of Pacific Rim Job 2. Thank you, Paul. Is this fucking film is just so much throwaway. Why does Boyega's character have to be like a thief on the run stealing Jaeger parts? Because literally, it's just an excuse to throw him back into this world as a Jaeger instructor.
Parts, Nick? I think he was drinking Jaeger bombs in the beginning of that. I think
somebody was
movie.
drinking Jaeger bombs, and I think they were in the fucking writing room for this piece of shit. Like, literally, why? Why is that even? Why can't he have just been an instructor from the get-go in this movie who is afraid he's never going to live up to his father's name because his father was the big hero who sacrificed himself to defeat the kaiju the first time around? That works perfectly well by itself. You don't need to manufacture all this other bullshit conflict that they fucking throw at you with the intro of this movie. It's pointless. It's fucking stupid.
I know you loved how they spoon-fed everything to you in the opening credits of the movie to like, hey, you didn't see the original film? You don't need to.
Yeah, here's everything was the first
you need.
Pacific Rim. Although they didn't put any pictures of Charlie Hunnam anywhere in there.
Of course, thank God. Which, again, and you know what? Paul from the Countdown, he commented the day that I saw this. He commented, I said, "Wish me luck." He said, "You're going to need it." I said, "Automatically more digestible." No Charlie Hunnam. And I'm going to stick with that because I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like everyone involved here, as far as the cast is concerned, does their best job they possibly can. I mean, Stephen Estelknight, who directed this movie, dude, he's known for like nothing. He directed one episode of the Daredevil TV series. He directed 2 episodes of Smallville, a couple episodes of Angel from like 15 years ago. So he was given this job. And I'm not hating on
this
him.
Guy living down and fucking in the dumpster with the Hobster?
Well, I mean, I feel like because he was an up and comer, and of course, Del Toro did still produce the film. But for a first comer, Nick, I'm not going to be hating on his direction all that much because I feel like a lot of the stuff that was good about it that I enjoyed was still pretty decent. I didn't outright hate the movie. I was just more frustrated by it than anything else because let's face it. A lot of people's arguments is the fact that, well, it's just a monster movie. What I'm coming in for is this, so I don't care about all this stuff. And yeah, I get that because I'm the guy that, yeah, I will tell you, Nick, right off the bat, I liked all the action in this. I liked all the fight scenes. And guess what? I liked them better than I liked how they were done in the first film. I feel like I actually had more fun with this one as far as just sitting back and being entertained with the action stuff than I was with the first film. Because in the first film, I couldn't stand Charlie Hunnam. It was unbearable to me. And they had that real world weight to the Jaegers where it would take like fucking 3 full minutes for the fist to actually hit the monster in the mouth. And I'm like, dude, I know it's real world, but I don't care about that. I just want to see the fucking thing get hit in the mouth, you know? So I was really a fan of the action sequences themselves and the way they were done and the way they were shot. And I thought all the CGI was extremely well done, on par with the first film. I just had the biggest trouble with, I mean, dude, okay, you're going to bring back characters. Spoiler alert, you may kill off one of the characters, brought back just to kill them off. And then, of course, we get one of the most obnoxious characters from the first film, Charlie Day as Dr. Newt Geisler. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to tell you this much. He's the villain in this film.
Which was just fucking baffling. But
they shot all of his scenes on a green screen in 1 hour, Nick. 1 hour.
I'm not surprised. I'm going to go back to something you said, though, about the action sequences in the film, because I'm actually going to completely disagree. I hated the action in this film. I felt like it was, it wasn't, it just wasn't done as well as it was in the first one. And I think that's the difference between a Guillermo del Toro in the chair and a Stephen S. I directed fucking Smallville 20 years ago, and now I live with a hopester. Legitimately, like, I really feel like, man. And I get what you're saying about, like, they added that kind of real world physics aspect to the Jaegers and their fights and stuff like that, but I still think that what Del Toro managed to do was make those fights look really entertaining and really ramp up the tension. In this, I felt absolutely no tension whatsoever. I never felt like I was watching anything other than a fucking big, brightly colored cartoon, and it wasn't a very convincing one at that. And I was just like, I'll be 100% honest with you. I was so bored by the action sequences. I was like, man, I wonder what the human characters are doing. And then they would cut back to that plot, and I would be like, no, wait, this sucks. Go back to the fucking robots. All of it sucked. Literally all of it sucked to me. I fucking hated everything about this movie. All of it was fucking trash.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Like I said, I take anything positive that I can.
That was the problem. I
and
didn't have any fun with this, and I was so sad that I didn't, because I was really hoping no Charlie Hunnam, more robot versus kaiju action. This should be a win-win. It should be a win-win. And that was the other real problem, is one of the biggest things was I loved the kind of the differentiation of the creature design in the first film. And then in this film, again, there's no fucking creatures in it until the very, very end of the movie.
Your argument is the same as Loisos's was, and he said, well, I didn't get the kaiju till the end. But for me,
those fucking drone things were stupid. Just fucking dumb. Just dumber than dumb. And why is it? Why in the ever-loving fuck is it that these stupid fucking robots are put... Number one, your pilot program. Why are there only legitimately just enough pilots in the fucking world to pilot just enough number of robots that you have? Why don't you have this expansive fucking... If you're spending, obviously, to maintain and have this fucking huge program, why don't you have hundreds of pilots? Hundreds of people.
It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years, as you can see with the beginning of the movie.
It's been. Like, clearly they're still dumping
it's not a problem.
Hundreds of billions of dollars into maintaining these robots and maintaining this whole academy of the Pacific Defense Force and all this fucking bullshit. Like, clearly it's all part of the universe still. Clearly it's all still fucking here. But literally you get to the end of the movie and of course they're like, we don't have any pilots. So of course they're going to put the fucking cadets in the robots, which makes no sense because they're cadets, number fucking one. And number two, you don't care about any of them. They're all blatant fucking stereotypes, legitimately. And I know that they wanted to make a point in this movie that we're all members of the human race because there's people, you know, you got the Russian girl, the Asian guy, the Middle Eastern guy, you know, you've got the young girl. All these different things, they're representing all these different races, all these different peoples and whatever. I get it, but that's all they are, is caricatures of the race or the people that they're supposed to represent. You don't get to learn anything interesting or anything whatsoever about these characters, period. Nothing.
I'm going to say this right now, and I will hope you take this as you normally will, Nick. This is the Power Rangers movie that I wish I got last March. I'm being serious, though, because here's the thing. Okay, I get your arguments, okay? I disagree with you as far as the fight stuff is concerned, but that movie gave me cardboard fucking characters that I hated. I disliked them. They were cold, unrelatable. And then when the fights happened, they weren't even fun. They weren't even, like, dude, I got to see, like, monsters beating the shit out of robots and throwing them through buildings. And I liked the end monster. I liked when the three different kaiju, you know, magically melded into the giant kaiju. I love the design of it, and I love when it's like killing everybody and destroying everything.
That was probably the only good action set piece in the film. I'll give credit to that one.
Okay, because for me as a fan growing up watching old Godzilla films or, you know, any old monster movie, it had that light vibe to it, like, hey, we know that you're here for this reason. That's why it's shot. It's why the whole end scene takes place in Tokyo, if I recall.
Oh, dude, how legit would it have been? How legit? Just follow me on this train of thought.
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
The big giant, like, mega kaiju. It's like the Devastator of kaiju. It merged together. It climbs up the side of Mount Fuji, and all of a sudden Godzilla just comes up out of the fucking caldera of the volcano.
And swipes it the fuck away.
It just swipes him away and just blasts him with atomic breath and blows his ass up. No, that's the movie I want to see. I would have fucking stood up and cheered.
If that had happened, I probably would have jizzed in my pants.
I would have been crying in the movie theater. I would have been so happy. I mean, basically
Seriously.
just because it was, seeing the big G and everything like that. I didn't even play the goddamn sound effect. Come on.
Watch out for Godzilla!
Come on now.
That's right. I get it though. So I totally understand your hate, because for me, this was a huge missed opportunity. I'm going to
so
go back
missed.
to what I said earlier on, and I'll say this again. So many people are saying, hey, it was goofy, fun entertainment. I get those people that's all they want out of it. And I get those people that are calling it a tedious watch. It's too much to handle. There's nothing in there as far as characters to get me invested.
I was bored. Honest to God, I was bored.
But here's the thing. Why can't there be the best of both worlds? That's what I don't understand. Like, why can't we have a great
That's
human
what the best
story?
animes do.
You know?
That's what
Exactly.
like these big robot animes and stuff like that. The human stuff is really compelling. It's great stuff, and then you also get that really amazing big robot action. There's no reason why a film can't have both. And I think it's a cop out to say that, I don't care about that stuff because it has this stuff. I think that's a complete cop out. I think that all elements of a film matter. And I think that, like I said, I didn't care for any of the elements in this film, but if I had to pick one over the other just because of that final action set piece, yeah, I would probably pick that end battle.
I'm going to tell you this much right now. As I said before, this was the Power Rangers that I hoped for last year. And this is still, that end set piece, Nick, is still better than anything I've seen in any Transformers film, because the epic film, guys, we suffer for all of our fans and our listeners and our patrons. We've seen all the Transformers movies, and I'll tell you right now, that end action set piece is still better than any of the shit that Michael Bay churns out and gives to me.
At least you could sort of pay attention to what was going on in this versus the Michael Bay Transformers movies.
The action was very well done, for me at least.
It's just I
just wish that I feel bad for Scott Eastwood and John Boyega.
So much of it's just so easily telegraphed from a mile away. You can feel what every single plot beat of this film is going to be well before it ever happens. And you get to this point where, they have these stupid drone robot things. And like, I feel like it's too manufactured. Like, if you want to do not. The last thing I want to fucking see is these big fucking robot things that are just destroying stationary robots. Oh, I'm to destroy the stationary robots so then we can't. Like, it doesn't raise the stakes for me at all. Just put the people in the fucking robots, get rid of the stupid neural bridging shit, and legitimately just have a massive robot versus alien versus kaiju, whatever the fuck, throw down, smash out, brawl fest. That's all you need to fucking have. Just do it. Just straight up do it. Like, how long did that sequence at the fucking hangar go on where they're all hiding and like trying to stay safe as those drones are fucking wandering around blowing shit up and destroying everything? It's stupid. And like the whole time you're like, just getting the fucking robots, just getting the fucking robots, just getting the fucking robots, like the whole time.
And then we see the Jaegers falling down. The people that are getting in the Jaegers, they're getting blown apart. My main issue as we wind down here to our ratings, Nick, is this film just unfortunately had no heart to it. I felt no sense of emotion from watching this. None of these characters mattered. And I feel like a little bit more effort taken into the human characters and their stories would have actually given me that. I mean, we have John Boyega playing Jake Pentecost, which is the son of like the big hero of the first film, which I love Idris Elba, but I didn't care about that character that much in the first one. But if you had added a little bit more effort into connecting those two characters, and he even mentions it in passing, him wanting to live up to his father's legacy, it could have meant something more. It could have made those action sequences more impactful.
And the same is true of his relationship with his sister as well. And that's
oh
the
my
girl
god,
from the first
killing
film, right?
It's bringing her in just to kill her off. Oh my god, I looked at Loisos during the movie.
I was just like,
and he was so mad by that, and I understand that because you're bringing back in a character.
But like, the same thing rings true of that. Like, of course, we never knew about this Jake character in the first film. Like, he was all of a sudden just this character that was created for this film.
Right,
so, like,
exactly.
Let us see, like, instead of this whole manufactured opening where he's on the run and he's stealing Jaeger parts and he's doing
and
this,
he's getting boozed up and getting laid
why
and
can't
shit.
we just fucking see, like, why can't we just see him being an instructor? And maybe he's having a tough time of being an instructor, trying to escape from his dad's shadow. And, like, he's got this whole relationship with his sister, and you get to see the relationship with his sister, and you get to see that develop and everything. So that way her death actually carries weight and actually carries fucking meaning.
Because when shit actually hits the fan,
I didn't even remember who the fuck that character was. I thought it was the girl from the first one, but I wasn't sure. I was just like,
I think that was
maybe?
put there for fans,
yeah,
Nick. But I mean, obviously, we weren't fans of the first one, so
even still,
but
I get give their saying. Relationship actual emotional weight. Like, I don't think I even knew that they were brother and sister until after she was dead. Did they even talk about it in the film before she died?
Yeah, they
I
do
think they maybe
mention
mentioned
it.
it.
He calls her sis a few times.
But
yeah,
it was quick.
When they bring her in, and she gives him the option to either go away or she's going to get him back in the academy. He calls her sis a bunch of times, but I'm like, wait a minute, she's Asian and he's black.
That was the only connection that you got between
I didn't
them.
get it at first. Like, it took a little while to get it. But again, that's why for me, I give props to Boyega. I'm going to give him props as I wind down on my
He's the best thing about this movie by 100 miles.
You could tell he has charisma, but my point is, Nick, he doesn't have enough charisma to carry a film on his back yet.
Not this film, anyway.
And that's my opinion. He's one of the better things in this movie. And you know what? I'm going to give props to Scott Eastwood. He definitely comes off just like his dad. He sounds like his dad. I feel like he's an up-and-comer. He may have come off slightly wooden in some scenes, but I feel like he's got it. They didn't do
anything with him, though.
Exactly.
The film did nothing with him.
You know nothing about that character at all, of Nate Lambert. You don't care about it. And I was like, wait, why should I care about this? And then that shoehorned in, forced little half-assed love triangle, which really isn't a love triangle. It's not developed at all.
They devoted
so it's like
so much time to that. There were like 4 or 5 different mentions to it.
Oh, a kiss on the cheek and whatever else. As I said, the film opens with John Boyega. His
I'll
character
go back
is like
to it again and again and again and again. Instead of the entire opening that we got with him not being it, just make him an instructor from the get-go, establish all of these relationships and all of these things from the beginning, spend another 15 to 20 minutes developing all this stuff so we give a shit about these fucking characters, and this film would have been halfway there for me. Halfway there. I still think,
so let's hear it.
Like I said, Del Toro versus, like I said, the Hopester's roommate, I'll call him.
Are you really gonna give this a lesser rating than the original? You don't like the original.
This is like a
really?
This is like a 3 out of 10. 3 out of fucking 10, dude. This movie was fucking garbage. Fuck this movie. It's a piece of shit.
You didn't give it a 1 though.
No, it's true.
So,
what did I give the original one? I think a 5. I think I gave it like just below my recommendation level because Charlie Hunnam is just that big of a sap of energy. I was like, I can't possibly recommend this film. But like I said, in that film, I enjoyed the robot versus kaiju stuff. In this film, like you basically got mostly robot versus robot stuff, which I was like, okay, that's fine. But it just like the action scenes to me also, I felt like, especially the earlier ones, they were over too quick. Like I wanted more. And the film didn't give it to me until you get to the end battle, and then the end battle was good. The end battle was good, and Boyega was good. Those are my 3 points out of 10. 3 out of 10.
Wow. Okay. Well, I knew you'd be that harsh, but for me, like, as I said, I feel like all the stuff in between any of the action sequences, the Jaeger on Jaeger action or the Jaeger on Kaiju action was unbearable. It was extremely difficult to get through, even with John Boyega at his most charismatic and Scott Eastwood as an up-and-comer, seeing how much he looks like his dad and sounding like his dad. I want this guy to succeed because I'm like, I want, Clint Eastwood reincarnated. Like, get this dude to do a fucking Dirty Harry remake or something. I don't care. I just love how much he looks and sounds like his dad. But in the end, I was entertained by the entertaining aspects. I just was really let down by, oh God, dude, Charlie Day is your main villain. Come on, dude.
Yeah, that was a huge.
Not
I was just like, what? And like the way that the plot of this film actually goes, like what his actual plot in this film is, I won't spoil it, but I was like, what? Like, get the fuck out of here! Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it was them trying to do even too much with it. Too much.
And I understand because Del Toro stepped away, and thank God he did because he made one of his best films to date with The Shape of Water.
Right.
He won an Oscar for Best Director, and it won Best fucking Picture. So, I mean, it is what it is. For me, right now, what I'm going to give the film... What do you think, Nick? I'm going to ask you, what do you think I'm going to give it?
I want you to give it a 5 out of 10, so it's not a recommendation. I don't want you to give it... Well, that's by my scale. Your scale's a little different from mine, but... I don't want you to give it. I don't want you to recommend this movie. I don't want you to make people recommend people go see this fucking drag.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, Nick, you actually nailed it right on the top of the head. I was going to give it a 5 out of 10.
There we go.
It is a mediocre film. And next to that, in parentheses, on my rating scale, it says more than a few issues, a lot of issues. But I will tell you this much. If you are the type of film goer, if you are the hardcore kaiju lover, if you are the monster film lover, and you're listening to this review and you're like, fuck it, I just want to go in and you do it. Exactly.
because we don't get these films often. Let's make that clear. This is not something we get often.
Man, when
okay?
does Godzilla
Big
2
studios
come out? Jesus Christ.
next year.
I know. Not soon enough is the correct answer to
But
that
here's the
question.
thing. We don't get these movies often. We don't get a big budget behind these movies. And this movie, okay, it was made for roughly 150 to 180 million. If you want to
make it too, especially overseas, like this film's gonna be a huge hit in Asia. Huge.
I may not love it. Of course, yeah, China will love it. But it may not be for me. It may not be for Nick. But if you really want to go in and just watch monsters and robots fighting robots and whatever else, literally, go for it. Turn your brain off. And I hate saying that because we don't like saying that on the show. Do it. We all love giant monsters. We all love giant robots. That's our thing. This is not Transformers. I would still recommend this over any Transformers film that's ever been made. Okay?
True.
Seriously.
Fucking story.
So you're right, Nick. You nailed it on the head. I was going for a 5. I kept saying for the past 3 days, I'm like, oh, I want to give it a 6. I'm rolling towards a 6, but in the end, you're totally right.
You would have gotten a whole bunch of these.
How dare you?
Exactly.
Well, how
Paul.
dare me?
If you would have given it a 6 out of 10.
Well, that and it's been a long time since I've shit on a film, and I guess a 5 is as close as me shitting on a film as
you
possible.
haven't been there in a while. Yeah, probably Power Rangers last year was the last time you really got that down on a movie.
But you know what, though? I did enjoy it more than Power Rangers, except for the fact that it doesn't have that brand recognition that got me that excited. So going into it, it's Pacific Rim. I didn't like the first film. You didn't like the first film. We're like the two of the only people on the planet, Nick, that didn't at least like one of us say, hey, I really loved the first film. I really liked it. So 5 out of 10 for me.
Listen, the box office tells the story of that fucking first film. I don't even want to fucking hear it because a lot of people did not go to see that movie, and a lot of people agree with exactly what we say about that film. They just rate the robot kaiju stuff higher and give it like a passing grade. I'm not as forgiving. I'm sorry. I don't care.
I know you're not. Well, hey, that's why we're the Epic Film Guys.
That's
so
true.
that's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Isle of Dogs, or as I like to call it, I Love Dogs, and Pacific Rim Uprising. We're going to take a quick little break, and then we'll be right back to close out the show.
Ooh, baby.
Hello, we are from Netflix and Swill Podcast. Let me review Netflix shows for you, please. It would mean so much to me if you let me review Netflix for you. Somebody's got to review them. Why can't it be me?
Come on, let the boy review Netflix shows for you.
Hi, hello. Are you good? Good. Let me drink crappy alcohol and make jokes for you. I'm already going to be reviewing Netflix for you. Just say yes to me drinking crappy alcohol. Honestly and sincerely, I'd like to make jokes for you to laugh at.
He's a good, hard-working boy. Let him drink some beer and make jokes.
Please don't make me watch the one-star movies.
He's a nice boy. Watch your own damn shitty movies. For God's sake.
Download Netflix and Swill, please. I'll put all our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean. Please download our episodes. I already started watching the one-star movies. If you didn't want to listen to our show, why'd you let me watch the one-star movies?
Can we stop this cruel game and allow the boy to keep one shred of dignity? For God's sake! I can't stand to see him in all this pain! So just listen to Netflix and Swill! For the love of God, let the boy review Netflix for you!
This week in epic film history. What do you got goes down your gullet this evening?
In this universe, there's only one.
Arnold, cut me off. You son of a bitch.
Everything freezes.
What do you got? Guzzle down your gullet, my friend.
Well, I tell you right now, you asshole, I ain't drinking none of this shit that you assholes are drinking. What I got was down at the local corner store. It was a small little bottle of Mr. Boston, and I got it for free. See, what I did is this guy at the corner, he's just so used to me standing there. He's kind of feeling bad for me, so I stood there for a moment, and then I kept knocking on the glass, and I said, hey, I'll leave here, and more people will come in this store if you just give me a small bottle of Mr. Boston. Most people think of it as piss water, but I like it. I enjoy it. It lets me fall asleep well at night, and it makes me feel good about myself a little bit. So every couple of days, this gentleman, he'll give me a couple small bottles of the Mr. Boston. So that's what I'm drinking. Now, the hell with you and the hell with this Justin guy. I fucking hate him, and I hate you. I should have been making money off those Austrian gentlemen again for like the 10th time in a row. And that Patrick Sherwood gentleman, his ass ain't even invited me to live with him yet. I know he's loaded rich with money falling out of his pockets, but I ain't getting none out of him. He's putting me on t-shirts and the whole deal, but I ain't making nothing out of it.
That's all I have to say to you, Mr. Hopester. I'm just going to use the power of Mr. Freeze.
Winter is coming.
Wait, who? Wait, is this a new member on the show? Is he getting paid instead of me? What's going on here?
I'd pay fat stacks of cash money to have Arnold's Mr. Freeze as a regular member of the show.
You're talking about sending booze to this guy and this other podcast or whatever. Why ain't you sending me nothing? Why ain't you sending me an invitation to live with you and free booze? I'll be quiet and everything. I swear I'll just come on the show and then everyone will listen because I'm on the show. We all know that I'm the reason why anyone likes this show.
I left a skunked case of PBR down by that McDonald's down there in Herndon when I was down there last year to watch Batman vs. Superman.
Skunk nothing. Give me a pet skunk. I'll put a leash on that fucking thing and walk it around as a goddamn dog. I tell you that right now. I don't even, honestly, that Mr. Boston might have been half poisoned. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Welcome back, everybody. We're almost done with the show. We're going to wrap things out here in just a little bit, but thank you for hanging out with us through Justin's review of Isle of Dogs. Can't wait to check that out. And through Pacific Rim Job. Thank you, Paul, from the Countdown.
Love that
once
name.
Again.
Love that name.
That's
I've never had a
amazing
Pacific
name.
Rim Job.
It's perfect.
I want a
It's so
Pacific
fitting.
Rim Job. I wonder if I can get my wife to do that.
Jeez.
I don't know what it consists of, but
I don't
I'm just
even-
going to go in the bedroom and say,
It
can I
sounds
get a
painful.
Pacific Rim Job?
It sounds like it would
Please?
hurt, but also like there's a lot of water involved, so I'm not really all that certain. But Justin, and this actually isn't something that we planned, but you just threw it at me right here during the break, and we're going to check out a trailer tonight, and we do that in a little segment that we love to call
Epic Reviews.
In the world of Endicott, New York, and Herndon, Virginia, two epic film guys dissect the latest movie trailers in a segment we like to call Epic Previews.
And Justin, since this is a film that you threw at me right here before we decided to jump into the third segment here, why don't you tell us what trailer we're going to be reviewing?
This is a film from David Robert Mitchell, which directed one of my favorite horror films of the last 5 years. Yeah, horror fans. Yeah, horror community. That's always questioned. I know you exist.
Kill him, hang him, hit him.
You're real. We all know you're real. We're talking about It Follows. It's his follow-up to that, Under the Silver Lake. This was on my most anticipated list, Nick, for 2017. It just got pushed back and pushed back. And of course, well, we're getting it now in 2018, so I'm so happy about this. This film is about Sam, played by Andrew Garfield. He's an affable but aimless young man. He becomes an unwitting detective who quickly finds himself in over his head as he investigates the mysterious disappearance of his beautiful neighbor with whom he has fallen in love. As he combs through Los Angeles searching for any kind of clues he can find, he stumbles upon a larger, more sinister conspiracy than he ever imagined, involving billionaires, celebrities, urban myths, and even pop culture as we know it. And this is your first time watching the trailer, Nick. I had watched it because I posted it on the Epic Film Guys Facebook page, as of which I guess you do not pay attention to, but understandably so. Wow, that's mean.
Man. I love you. What in the hell?
Sorry, I'm drinking the rest of my beer. I can't wait for this movie.
Fucking
This
frog?
looks-
Are you that frog drinking that fucking frog whiskey again?
I don't know. I like frog whiskey. I may not like this movie. It says Under the Silver Lake. I may live on top of the Silver Lake and like to lay on the lily pads and drink the whiskey on top. Then I like to go into Hollywood and get fucking hammered. Hammered.
Yeah,
Miss
this
Picky's
was-
Miss Vagina.
Oh
No.
my god.
Who moves out in the middle of the night?
Nothing strange about it. She wanted to leave. How does that not make sense?
I don't understand why she didn't tell me.
Maybe she didn't like you. Maybe she knows you're poor and haven't paid your rent.
I found some kind of code or like secret message in her apartment.
It means stay quiet. Our world is filled with codes, subliminal messages, from Silver Lake to the Hollywood Hills.
Could any of this be connected to Sarah?
I know this girl.
There's a message in the music.
Really think you're gonna find a hidden message in a pop song? 1, 2, 3. Can't quite see it, but I'm close.
Honey, how are you?
Mom, I'm fine. Mostly fine. Why do we assume that all of this information is what we're told it is? Maybe there are people out there who are more important than us, more powerful, communicating things in the world that are meant for only them and not for us.
Yeah.
Oh, you think that's weird?
A little.
This was my first time checking out the trailer. It looks great. It looks really, really great. I don't really know how to react to it outside of that. It looks, I mean, there's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of intrigue going on in this. Andrew Garfield, I will watch anything he's in. He's one of the best and brightest young actors in Hollywood today. So I will definitely turn out. And plus, this is an A24 production, and A24 has been churning out great fucking films. Some really great films, dude.
Yeah, they've literally knocked it out of the park 9 times out of 10 for me. So
yeah, so I'm super excited for it. I'm sorry that I don't have a lot more to bring to it, but it looks super atmospheric. Like, I love the kind of mystery and intrigue that the trailer kind of raises up, and it seems like it's gonna be one of those kind of films that's gonna kind of twist and turn every few minutes. And I really look forward to it. I definitely am gonna check it out now because yeah, that trailer really piqued my interest. And like I said, Garfield's great. Garfield just looks great in it, and he is always absolutely magnetic up on that screen.
I'm telling you right now, he's one of those guys that, again, going back to those Oscars sitting on the shelf, he's got at least one up there waiting for him. I already know it. If he doesn't, I'll be outright shocked. Maybe he'll have to wait until he's like in his 40s for it. But I mean, he's playing a young character in this, and you know, he's like, I think he's my age at this point. I'm pretty sure he's like exactly my age. So he's like 34-ish. It looks like he's playing a guy in his 20s, and he plays it so perfectly. This reminds me a lot of like Inherent Vice, which I get it. I know certain cinephiles out there are going to want to put me on fire for this and beat me to a pulp. But I did not love Inherent Vice, but I loved the mystery aspects of it, and I loved all the characters in it. Just didn't love the story. So I'm hoping with this that I love the story, because I love the visual aesthetic of this movie. And David Robert Mitchell like pulled a fast one and gave everyone one of the best horror films of the past 10 years that it follows. So it seems as though he wants to try his hand at a neo-noir thriller. And for me, I'm like, yes, please. This is what I love filmmakers to do, Nick, when they already conquered one genre and they're going to go, hey, I kind of did that with this film. I'm going to go try and do this genre. And with A24, that name behind it, most of the time I can trust them. I am so excited. This is going to be released on June 22nd by A24, which means for the most part, you're going to get a pretty decent, like I call it a mid-release. It's not wide release. It's not limited release, but it'll be released in most places in the United States. The United States. The United States? That's right. I'm super excited for it. And it's not chock full of...
I don't know. What the hell was that?
God. It's not chock full of major stars, but I noticed that there's only one other major star in the film. One of your favorite comic book related characters of all time, Venom from Spider-Man 3, played by Topher Grace. Topher Grace is in this film, Nick. Yes. Who helps his friend with an investigation.
Speaking of Venom, I read this thing today, and Tom Hardy actually went on Instagram and left this cryptic, weird fucking response to the whole thing. But apparently there's a rumor flying around that Venom actually doesn't ever actually have the Venom suit in the Venom movie.
Or he's not in it very often. That's what I heard. That he's not in it very often.
I've heard he's not in it at all. Like, that was what I read. I was like, what?
Dude, the poster is the eyes and the... No, of course he's in it. The rumor that I heard was that you don't see Venom until the end of the film.
Yeah, I don't know about that either, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Until then, I'm just going to chalk it up to...
You must be kidding, aren't you?
Exactly, Tommy.
Tommy,
exactly.
God, Tommy. I don't know who I would agree with more. Thank you, Tommy. Please. I just want to be with you right now in an empty room and alone with you. And yes, we would do that, and then we would do other things, and you'd give me platform boots, and you'd give me my extra belt that I don't need, and
I don't know about that. I don't think he has one. I really think he's part alien, or he is alien. I don't
Is
know.
he like a mannequin? Like he just doesn't have genitals, or like the angels in Dogma? Like when Alan Rickman yanks his drawers down, and it's just like there's just a nub there.
It's like the Ken doll, dude. It's just like the little, it's the cod piece, but there's nothing really
That's
there
true.
underneath it. That's all it is.
Very true.
I'm super pumped for Under the Silver Lake. I'm
Yeah, it
glad you
looks
have the
great. It does
opportunity
look
to
great.
see the trailer, Nick. But that's it for the show, man. We've kind of movied ourselves out on this episode.
We did. We dropped a lot of good stuff for you guys, so we do hope you enjoyed the show. As we mentioned up top repeatedly, please, 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 please. The promos are out there, video promos. If you're a YouTuber and for whatever reason you're listening to this show, the show does post up over on YouTube. Please drop that promo. I did upload it to YouTube as well. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and do it. And yeah, drop those promos for the Livestream for the Cure. You're going to get stickers for the Epic Film Guys and for Livestream for the Cure. Merchandise is going to be available very soon. Please, please, please support the event. You can learn all the information over on the event page on Facebook. Follow Livestream, the number 4 Cure on Twitter, or livestreamforthecure.com. Thanks to Emily from The Story Behind who bought us the domain, because she's literally just the most amazing person on the planet.
She's such a sweetheart.
She really
I had
is.
the greatest opportunity to be on Two Peas on a Pod just this last week with her, with Gerald, and of course with Winters, or as we like to call him, Shock Top
Fucking
from
Shock
Sawyer Made a
Top.
Movie Geek, as we talked about our top 5 top 80s teen movies. And you guys got to go over and listen to that show on your own to find out what happened. But myself and Winters, we kind of clashed on our picks there. We're pretty straight down the middle on the same page. So fantastic time being on that show. I love that show so
Well,
much.
Dan,
And
I
of course,
don't really think that was called for.
well, Dan's all over the place. Dan's like a fucking podcast superstar now. He's just like, I'll do whatever I need to do. I'll be on any show I can be.
Is the man. Dan's been off entertaining with his lady friend. They met halfway, and they were doing all sorts of fun stuff, which was really, really cool. They were sending pictures and all sorts of fun updates.
I know all
to see
about
Dan
this
happy.
now.
Really nice to see
I know
Dan
all about
as happy
this
as he
now.
is.
It's no secret, but I won't say it on the show. But I know all about it, though.
I bet
I know the
do.
secrets.
You know secrets. But Justin, before we roll out on the show tonight, I think there's one more thing you wanted to do. Did you want to get nuts?
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Yeah, I'm gonna get nuts.
Ooh.
We're gonna give away a digital code on the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Yeah, that's right. One of the biggest, most divisive films of last year. Just the end of the year.
Godzilla!
No, it's not a Godzilla
I don't know what
film.
Godzilla has to do with it.
Star. War. The. Last. Jedi.
That's right, ladies and
If you
gentlemen.
ever
We'll be
do that
giving
again,
away
I'm
the
spamming the I Sucked Dick Last Night button
Ultra
all night.
4K Blu-ray digital code for The Last Jedi. And I'm going to make this as simple as possible. I just want you
Wow.
to go into the group and pick this as fast as possible. Someone come in and tell me the answer to this. Before the character of Luke Skywalker was named Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars, what was his original last
Man.
name?
Oh, that's so easy.
It's
so
easy, but
it's crazy.
yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, there you go. So that's your chance. The poll will be up, or the Google form, I should say, will be up over in the Hopesters Dumpster when the episode releases, and you'll have a couple of days to get your answer in before we select a respondent. And that's not all, Justin. I'm going to get a little bit nuts as well. And I'm
That's not all?
going to give away patron-only status to, why don't we give it away to 2 more lucky listeners out there? 2 more lucky listeners to get a chance to hear what the patrons get to hear. So all you have to do on the reaction thread for this post over in the Hopesters Dumpster, that's the Facebook group for the Epic Film Guys podcast, get over there, and in the official reaction thread, all I need you to do is type in the comment, I love the Hopester. That's it. I love the Hopester. And
it's been a while since his ass has shut up on the show. I'm actually pretty relieved by that.
I think people are probably starting to miss him or something like that. I don't know. He's been sending our fans letters and shit. It's really weird.
I think he's actually trying to sabotage what we're trying to do with the live stream for the Cure 2.0. So I'm actually praying that he doesn't, but I have a feeling he's gonna show up. I feel like he's just gonna walk in the front door, he's gonna knock me out with a beer bottle, or probably a Jameson bottle actually, or whatever he's got, fucking Mr. Boston bottle, and I'll be out for the count. My girls will be out of here. So
that Mr. Boston bottle will just be made of plastic, so it'll probably actually just bounce off your head, and you'll be like, "What the fuck?"
Dude, if he fills it with rocks, though, dude, I mean, it's the Hopester. You don't know what he's gonna do.
That's true. You never ever do know. So yeah, there you go. A chance to win the digital code for The Last Jedi and a chance at patron only status for 1 month. We're giving it away for 1 month again. So jump on it and get in there. And literally all you have to do to get access to all of the patron only content. There's so much more that we release for all of our other patrons that you're not even going to get the chance to see at that level, but there's so much more stuff that we're going to be doing in the future for our patrons. So please stay tuned for all of that. And Justin, next week on the show, we got a big one.
Ready Player
Old
One.
Stevie
Man.
S.
I'm so excited about this.
Old
Actually,
Stevie S, who is butthurt about Netflix. Because
you know what? I'm on his side.
I will never understand. Here's what I think, and I'll leave it as
you know what? Let's leave this as a precursor, Nick, because this could be a great topic of discussion for next week. So let's give a little tease, then we can we'll give them the whole shebang next week.
Okay, well let's just leave. You already said that you agree with him. I disagree with him. I completely disagree with the whole thing. So we'll leave it at that. We'll get into a more complete discussion about that next week on the show and give our thoughts of that whole fucking
cinematic
controversy.
Means cinema, which means theater, which means if it's not in a theater, it's not cinematic.
Last night.
And we all know what that means.
Play years. Oh, and that's not fair. God damn it. This is the end of the show. We've basically drained every bit of energy out of ourselves.
Baby. We've covered it all. You guys are amazing. Yeah. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. We've had so many different people, so many great shows like Heather from Sunshine and Power Cuts, Perry and Lindsay from the Pod Stuff, and Adam from Odd Dad Out. A lot of amazing podcasters who are going above and beyond to promote the live stream for the Cure on their own. Like, it's not even like just what I'm doing, because like we're both working hard to really get this thing out there much bigger than it was last year, but we've got other people who are just full on in support of this. They've created web pages of their own promoting it because they're going to be on the event because they want the event to succeed as well. It's amazing, and I really think we're going to smash that goal so far out of the park. It's going to be fucking crazy. So I can't wait. I cannot wait for Livestream for the Cure 2.0. But until then, next week on the show, as Justin said, we've got Ready Player One. And then, I don't know, during April, we're going to do something. We're not going to watch all the fucking MCU films because I would kill myself before I get to go see Infinity War if I had to do that. But we're going to at least talk about probably the 3 different Marvel phases, 3 different weeks, and just kind of talk about the MCU, our thoughts about it, our journey with it, and kind of maybe where we hope to see it go in the future as we ramp up toward Infinity War, which of course is just about a month away at this point, Justin. So I know you're excited.
It's almost exactly a month away. It's March 26th right now on this recording, and it's hitting April 27th officially, which means
super exciting.
The day before. Oh man, it's going to be so exciting. I can't wait. I'm honestly really excited for this. I mean, yeah.
It's literally, I mean, it's even, kind of before the official summer movie season really kicks off with Memorial Day weekend. And, we're really going to probably get what is going to be the biggest film of the summer and probably one of the biggest films of the year easily. So, yeah, I'm super excited for it, but that will have to wait for another time. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, have been Nick.
And I am Epic Film Guy Justin. And we love you guys so much. We appreciate you tuning in every single week to the Epic Film Guys podcast. As Nick said, if you're not already following us on Instagram, Twitter, at Epic Film Guys, and check us out on our Facebook page. But I am Epic Film Guy Justin, and we will see you.
I sucked a dick last night.
What does that have to do with
you had to
anything,
ruin it. You had
Sauce?
to fucking no.
Why does he have to come in here and say that kind of shit?
Oh my God! Seriously, the Hopesters got everything. We thought we had a clean show here to come and say that.
We were so close. We were so close, and then Moises has to come in here and ruin everything. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, and we will see you at the movies.
At the movies,
God damn, Moises Sauce ruining everything.
From the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.